Welcome to the Met Report. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you the basic components of a package. We start out with an anchor introducing the subject matter and then introducing the reporter covering the story. Benjamin Smith has more. Once you have your story topic, you will want to construct an outline. This will act as a map of the package. It's an excellent way to organize all of the pieces of your story. Remember, this is a script for video, so make sure you write it in a conversational style. Time your script. Your target total running time is 90 seconds or less. Once you have your script, you will need to start gathering equipment. The first thing you want to do before you ever take gear out of the office is to fill out the equipment checklist. Be sure that you have all necessary equipment you will need for the story, such as a camera, tripod, microphone, a light kit, XLR cables, extra tapes, extra batteries, headphones, and of course, a paper to white balance. When ready to shoot, always consider your light source. The color temperature of the sun is different than indoor light bulbs and will produce a different looking shot. White balancing is very important when shooting video. This process must be repeated at every new location you shoot. Shots that are not white balanced typically turn out blue from the sunlight and red from inside lights. B-roll are film shots that correlate with what the reporter is saying in their voiceover, otherwise known as tracking. The B-roll should relate to the story and can be anything from students walking to a building, a sign, or an object. Every time you press record, shoot at least 5 seconds of pre-roll at the beginning and 5 seconds of post-roll at the end of each clip. This will allow for editing techniques such as crossfades, cross dissolves, and padding. A stand-up can be used as an introduction or a conclusion, or somewhere in the middle as an exemplary stand-up. It's a chance for the reporter to show something that cannot be explained through the use of sound bites or interviews. An interview provides a chance for the story to be explained by an expert or somebody with an authority on the subject. Always introduce the expert with a lower thirds name bar.
Well, I think it's one of the most important things. I mean, anybody can tell a story, anybody can put up fancy pictures, but if you have that interview that really brings your package together, I think it really reaches out to the audience and really tells the audience, because it's backing up what you're trying to say. You know, not only give the story credibility, because you want the audience to believe that, you know, believe in your story, but to also provide, you know, to shed light on an issue, something you may not have known before, or it could offer a new perspective on this story that you may not have heard of before.
Other things to remember are to be direct and write open-ended questions that require more than yes or no answers. If you don't like the answer, try reforming the question. Remember, you are in control of the conversation. Try to make sure your subject feels as comfortable as possible. Another component to a typical news story is an MOS, or Man on the Street interview.
That's just when they interview some random guy on the street about whatever the subject might be.
Well, it's where the news person, the reporter, would go out and they would ask questions to like random people to gauge like a real world response.
When transferring your footage to the computer, make sure to add a few seconds before and after each clip you log. It will save you trouble in the editing process. Also, make sure you name each clip so you can recognize them and save them in the same place every time. Organization is monumentally important in the post-production process. Editing is easiest when all video footage and graphics are stored in the same place. Always edit with the audio volume at mid-range so your viewers have room to increase or decrease the loudness of your video. It is important to add 2 seconds of padding at the beginning of your sequence as well as a minimum of 7 seconds at the end. Finally, before you export, review your package 3 times. 1 time to make sure audio is consistent, a 2nd time to make sure your video contains no jump cuts or frames of black, and a 3rd time to make sure all the content flows consistently, and of course, to ensure continuity. Now it's time to have your package checked over by your lead editor. Once again, make sure your audio tracks are paired, your sequence has padding, and you have no frames of black. The final step of constructing a package is exporting. Go to File, Export, using QuickTime Conversion. After titling the video, go to Options, Settings, change the compression type to DV/DVC Pro and the quality to Best. Click OK, OK again. Make sure you know where the video will be exported to, and then click Save. Once your video is exported, remember to put it on the server. Now, there are a lot of aspects to this process, so make sure you ask a lot of questions. Your fellow Met reporters are willing and able to help you with anything you may need. Remember, you're telling a story, so make sure you have a well thought out introduction, middle, and conclusion, followed always by a tag out at the end. For the Met Report, I'm Benjamin Smith.